everybody. Oh my goodness. It's been a bit of a mission. I decided to try a bit earlier tonight. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's kind of selfish though. Oh, hang on, have I got food on my face? Survivor tonight at 7:30. So I don't want to miss too much of it. See, priorities. I said tonight that, I said last Saturday that I was going to do a draw to see who won the layout that I did on Saturday, the mostly cut one. We've had a few orders. I've got a box here I'll show you with entries. Look, there's a few in there. Is there any with no name? If there's one with no name, we got a problem. Oh no, it's all good. So I'm going to do a draw, and it's so you can see. And I'm going to do that first, and then we'll get on to the class. Now, the unfortunate thing is, I said I was going to do 4 cards. I only got 3 cards done. So I'll post a photo of the other one when I get it done, because it is a series of 4. All right, so ticket. Tracy Rogers, you have won the double layout for free. How lucky are you? Congratulations. So I'll put that aside. All right, so we're going to get down to business. I'm going to put the camera up. Hopefully I've got it the right way. We don't want dramas from last week. Hey Judy, how you doing? There we go. See it all? It looks like it's mostly pretty good. Okay. So, today we're going to make some little cards. And as I said, it's a collection of 4, but I only got 3 done. It's just been one of those days. I had plans of getting it finished this afternoon, and I had to go for a drive. So anyway, all right, so today I'm featuring, I did ask on the weekend for people to vote on what stamp set they'd like to see featured. This one was one of them. I didn't get too many votes, but that's all right. So I thought, oh, let's run with this. I'd seen some really great techniques done by some other consultants. 2 of the cards that I'm doing today are inspired by or copied from a consultant in Western Australia called Laura Beecham. She is super, super talented and, yeah, does some really lovely stuff. The other one is straight out of the ideas book. So the stamp set I'm featuring today is called Fairy Tale Magic. And it's this little fairy. There's a little bowl with some little mushrooms, and then there's some more little mushrooms, toadstools. It's got some sentiment stamps, some leaf stamps. These are a floral thing that I was hoping to use on the other card that I haven't finished yet, and then some nice sayings called Life is Wonderful, a Wonderful Fairy Tale. And the other one is Make Each Day Magical. So I'm going to take you through all 3 cards, and I'll show you those in a second. I'll just put this white piece of paper here so that you could see the stamp better. This stamp also comes with a thin cut. So to cut out the fairy, I would have loved to have seen a little cutout for the mushrooms and the boughs as well. That would have been nice, but anyway, they didn't do it this time. So I'm going to use this thin cut later. I'm also going to use, well, I've also used the 2.5-inch circle thin cut for a mask on one of the cards, and I've also used the one of the old thin cut tags. All right, so I'm going to put that aside because I've got all my stamps over here on the blocks ready to rock and roll. So let's get going. I'm going to show you the 3 cards, and then I'll do them as we go. So I'll give you a look. So this one here, this one's straight out of the ideas book. I tried to match the colours as best I could. Whether I achieved that or not, that's okay. We're featuring the mix-ins, so I used the mix-ins in Saturday's workshop. So this was the pinky one with the butterflies. You could use either side. I think in the catalogue they use the butterfly side, but I thought, no, I'd rather the other one because it goes with my pink better. So I've got my bits there. I've just tucked them in there and I'll go back. The other card I'm going to show you today, this one is a Laura Beecham card. It's a nighttime silhouette. It's sponging, it's masking, so there's a little bit of technique here. Oh, what I meant to say was this one here was cut with, was coloured with pencils, and then there was some overstamping here done with inks. This one here has been sponged again, and then you stamp the image and you colour it in with your black alcohol marker, and they just come up beautiful. I've done a little bit of splatter with some shimmer brush as well, so I'm going to take you through that process. Beautiful. And then last but not least, because I said I've only got 3 and not 4, it's this card. So this one here, there's some background stamping on the card base. There's a piece of white cardstock here that we've sponged like little hills on. I've stamped some toadstools on there. Again, this is another, I can't remember if I said this is another Laura Beach, and mine's a little bit different to hers, but not that much different. And then we've sponged this cloud pattern, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to do the 4 cards in a kit. There'll probably be 4 cards for 20 because I'm going to include this 4x6 cloud template for you that you'll be able to use in other projects. So I've got a few different sections there, and I'll show you how to use that in a minute, or when we get up to that bit. I'll put that back in there. So this one here we've actually cut out the little fairy. I've got one here that I've pre-done because I'm not going to put you through me having to go and do the thin cut that, but you never know, I might make you. But so let's get started. I'm going to start on this one here first. Now it could take at least half an hour to get through this, so get relaxed. If you get bored, come back later. See how we go. Alright, so I'm going to pull this one away. Double check that I've cut that right. Yes, I have. Alright, I've got my pencils all here. First job I'm going to do is not that. I might stamp the little beastie first. Alright, I'm going to stamp this one first. So, featured colours in this one are, always when I'm stamping and colouring in, I always use my Intense Black. That's just a given. Anybody's looked at a workshop that I've done lately? Intense Black. Oh, and what I didn't really think of, I haven't popped up to have a look to see who else is in here. So I am going to do a dovetail. So I want to stamp it a little bit towards the side so that I can do my dovetail. Who else is there? Hi, Rosalind. Hi, Kerry. So that's one. So that's stamped. And somewhere here I've got my stamped chamois. Now when you're using Intense Black, I always use the Stays On Cleaner. It just cleans them up a bit better. We're going to use this a couple of times, so I'm not going to clean it with the Stays On just yet. Alright, next I'm going to do my fairy and my bow. So, got that little beastie loaded. Look at how dirty that is. You can tell I've been using it because I've wanted to use this on another card as well. You know my deal. I've got children trying to get my attention here, and they're going to get a smack.
Finish the washing dishes.
Right, so hopefully that wasn't my head in the road. Maybe it was. Hold that one on. It's a little bit light, but that's okay. And then next I'm going to do my fairy. A little bit of excess there, but anyway. Alright, fairy's going to be down a little bit. I'm aiming hopefully for the centre. Doesn't really matter. So while I've got the Intense Black out, I'm also going to use, it's got really cute little sparkles there. There's a solid one, and then there's one that's an outline. So I'm going to use the outline one. So I'm going to go and stamp those while I'm going. Oh, that should have been a gentle touch, and it wasn't. I would probably throw that one away normally, but anyway. Gentle. It's like a bit of a kiss. Just going to pop 3 of those on. So you got that? Just going to give him a clean. Righto. Next, before I colour in the fairy, because I'll only like colour in half the fairy in that way, because you'll get it, no worries. Oh, I know what I didn't grab. All right, next what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my little stamps. So I've got a little leaf outline and a solid shape there, and then I've also got a little flower and I've got a flower outline. So on the, just got it. I'm going to use Pixie and Raspberry ink, and then I'm also going to use, I don't know if I use julep or sage. I think on my instructions I might have said sage, but I'm going to use julep, I think, for the leaves. So I'm going to go and stamp just a few little flowers. There's a few little bud points on the floral spray, so you can just cover up. Add to, they look like little tulips.
Oh, yeah. Santa, Coda got Peter's iPad.
Now some of these here, they're going to be actually hidden, so I'm not going to worry too much about there. Then I'm going to put the raspberry away, and I'm going to use Pixie to put the solid part of the flower in. I like these two-step stamps. They save a bit of time. I should go and do all the ones up the right way first. Now I think I'm going to feature the cuckoo clock one next. I thought that might be fun. Okay, next, so that's the Pixie done. Get those out of the road because we're going to use those two colours again later. Got the julep ink. And they're there somewhere. Where are they? Oh, I've already got them here. Duh. Alright, so I'm going to go with the solid and just go and stamp a few leaves with the solid shape. You don't have to stamp them all. I sort of made a point to stamp the ones with a vein. And it doesn't matter how big or small they are, because for some reason it just works. Now you can go in, oh hang on, I just stamped an extra one there. You can go in now with your outline one and just stamp a few outlines. Even just coming off a bud or something, just for an extra little bit of something. Okay, so that'll do for now. Alright, so while I'm working on the bow, I'm going to colour in my mushrooms.
Because you could actually share.
I've used the Go Away Sand Brown. And I'm just going to use the sand brown on the undersides of the mushies, toadstools, whatever you want to call them. Correct me if I'm wrong. Got people talking beside me. They don't get the hint of a closed door. Stay away. Actually, I think I did them all a lighter colour. It's alright, I'm going to make the kids useful in a minute. I can find my water brush. So that's just those little beasties. While I'm going, I've got a pink pencil here and I'm going to colour in just the solid shapes on the words. If you wanted to, you could use a shimmer brush. These little guys though, I think on the words there, I've just run over with the diamond stickles. Who doesn't like a little bit of glitter? There's that one. What I should have done prior to putting something sticky on there is just made my dovetail. Actually, I might make it a bit smaller. And then, if I can find my pencil, I'm just going to draw a little border around it. So just point to point. You know what? Your lines don't have to be perfectly straight. It's all in the fun of it. Just any fine tip pen. I'm using our Close to My Heart journaling pen. It's a 0.3. 0.3? Yeah, 0.03. 0.3 would be a bit big. It's that one. Set him aside. All right. Now, I'm just going to do the skin tones and maybe the skirt of the girl as a demo. So this one here is called Apricot Pink. I think that's the colour I use for her skin. Maybe, maybe not. What's this one? No, that's what I use because I use mustard yellow for her hair. So just lightly I think I went. We've got some great colours in for skin tones in the markers as well. I find I do sort of circular motions and just quite lightly. Do a little bit of pink for her lips. It's so tiny, it's not funny. Okay, and then bits that you want darker. So mainly I've just used this one colour pink and then I've done a few lighter ones there. So the bits that you want darker, I'll go and do the edges and give that a bit of a harder touch, and then I'll sort of come back and shade the rest and hopefully pull the colour in. I'm no expert at colouring, I muddle through. And if you want a bit more, have a bit more. So I also used this one here, the skin colour, on a couple of the petals, just to have a couple of little lighter shades, and then just lightly coloured over the top as well, just to give it a bit of a different colour. And then same with the dress. Right, let me just go and find my water brush. The little people got the hint. All right, so it's a water brush. It looks like it's black, but it's not, I assure you. I don't use a lot of water on these one. I'm not using watercolour paper, but I am just going to drag the colour in. Once it's dry, you could go and drag a bit more in if you wanted to. Just helps it blend just nicely. And if you find it's getting a bit wet, just wipe it on your mat, or you could work with a piece of paper towel beside you. All right, so the wings are super cool. It's again, it's just light, dark. I think it was like heavy of this apricot pink as well, because I'm sure I haven't used a lot of colour. I'll just do one half of her wing so you get the picture. So I'm using the apricot pink, the apricot pink here a lot heavier, so that I get the difference between the skin tone and the non-skin tone. My girl's going to be a blonde. So again with the water brush, just gently. And then I'm just going to drag that peachy colour. Alright, so last thing to finish this little lady off is I'm going to use the diamond stickles. And I'm just going to run a line of diamond stickles. Like if it's not bright enough, you can go and add more colour, that's no worries. You just have to make sure that it's dry. I don't think I did a little dress. So diamond stickles just down the flower petals of her dress. If you get too much squeeze out, just drag it. It's quite forgiving. I'm actually quite impressed with the stickles. And then I put stickles on the orange, the peachy pink colours. Just a line of stickles over that. Over one wing. Okay. The other thing I did, I went and, oi! I put a lot of stickles on there. Look, see, this is live. Who's laughing at me? Alright, so I'm doing what I said. I've squeezed a big blob. So I'm just grabbing some and putting it on other spots. That really black one needs a bit of a lightening up. It's all good. I think that one's even too big to sort out. So I'm going to get a bit of paper towel. I've probably gone a bit quiet because I went away from the microphone. And I'm just going to pick that up. Oh my goodness, what was I thinking? Problem, crisis averted, yay! Okay, so that's that little beastie. That's the hardest bit. So I'll go back and finish that in a second, or later, whatever. So why have I got a big bit? What was I thinking? I'll just trim it, it's all good. All right, so I've got my piece of 1/8 by, it should be 3 3/8. Hang on, I'll give you the measurements wherever I put them. In a safe spot. Oh, here. All right. So while I'm here, I'll tell you the measurements. So the pink fairy card, that's what I called it. So I've got the mix in, so it's 5.5 by 4 1/4, so it'll cover your card base. The raspberry is 3 3/8. No, it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. The white piece that I'm working on at the moment is 3 3/4 by 5. Then there's this piece here, which is 7/8 by 2 inches. And then the glitter is 1/8 by, it's not 5, it's 3 3, no, it's 4 inches. It's whatever the width, no, it's whatever the width that is, 3 3/8, 7/8. And then there is the smaller bit, this one, which is 2 by 1/8. So I'll just do a quick assemble of that. You'll just have to forgive me for the measurements. These all will be available in kit form. I'll have the pre-stamping done, but you'll have to do some stamping yourself. Bitty sparkles. So bitty sparkles will go on. I usually use my scissors. You can never have too much sparkle. Usually aim for like 3 bits. Have I gone down too low? I have. How low can you go? Right, a little bit of foam tape. Who doesn't like a little bit of dimension? That should be dry now. Just going to put that right on the edge. I like to just cut a little bit of a dovetail continuation there. That's already got tape on it. I just so happen to have a piece from earlier. Excuse my head. I'm just going to tuck that right in underneath there. That's probably an easier way to do it, but that's just cute. Alright, now I'm going to stick this little beastie to that. Because this is wet, I'm not going to turn it over. I'm just going to run my runner here. This is only going to have like a 1/16 of a border. 1/16, 1/8, no, 1/16. It's pretty small. Because I just want that tiny little bit of peeking out. Oh, it's not straight, but anyway. It's alive. Alright, and again, I'm going to use a bit of foam tape. I usually like to use 6, just so it doesn't sag. I'm going to have fingers full of 3D tape. Look at that, I was hoping I'd be done in half an hour. The first card's taken half an hour. Oh my goodness, that's all right. The other ones will be quick. Promise. What else are you doing on a Thursday night? Alright, so this one goes on that sheet. Then we've got our card blank to stick it to, so it's going to be a straight fit. And that one's done. I'll go back and finish it later. But it is really beautiful. I love the effect that the stickles give it. A little bit of sparkle. Love it. All right, so that's one done. Bye bye. All right, next one I'm going to show you is the Laura Beecham one. This one here. So I really love this effect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the sponging, and I'll just show you, I won't assemble this one, but I will show you the techniques on both, and you'll be all good to go. So first job is you want to get your little mask on. So if you watched the videos last year, I taught a few classes on masking, or covered a few sessions with masking. So I've got my post-it note, and I do cut it with a little bit of sticky up the top, but I find that you do need an extra bit of sticky to keep it down just while you're sponging. When I mask or sponge like this, I always start with a lighter colour and then work my way up. It helps to build colour. So this one here, I'm doing a little bit off centre, so it's a bit towards the top, but it's a bit over to the side, because we're going to do that little cloud burst across the moon or whatever it's meant to be. All right, so sponging. I have got my sapphire sponge. I'm using sapphire, I'm using Carolina, and I'm also using Lagoon. And look, I'm a good girl. I've got my little things on there. I'm just going to pop up and see if there's anybody got any questions. No? Everybody's all good? Hi Sharon, hi Jenna, hi Helen. Okay, so I'm going to start with Carolina. Carolina is a lightish blue. I could have used Glacier, but I think Glacier's overused at the moment. So, all right, 1, 2, 3 colours. So I'm going to start with Carolina first. I am going to lightly sponge over this. So I'm just going to put that there. Carolina. All right. So you can sponge one or two ways. You can rub your sponge on the ink pad like that, or you can also squeeze into your lid, and then there's ink in your lid there as well that you can pick up from. I always start sponging off onto my paper first, and then it's circular motions. And so basically we're going to focus around the moon, because that's the lighter section that we're going to do. But it doesn't hurt if you do the whole lot, because as I said before, you're going to build the colour. So that's 1, 2. That's all you need to do. Done. So that's Carolina sorted. Next I'm going to go Lagoon. So the Lagoon one, I'm not going to go all the way to the centre, because I do want to leave some of those little blue sections, like the lighter colours. So again, I'm starting off my ink pad, off my piece of cardstock, because I want to get most of it off. I don't want to be too in your face. So, and you don't have to do the whole lot. And you're thinking, oh, there's not that much colour, but you can still see a little bit of shading there. It's good. All right, simple as that. You're also meant to do it to this bit as well, so I'll come back to that. Then we've got the sapphire. So again, I'm just going straight to the top of the ink pad. And then this is where you're going to build it. So really start on the edges and give it a good rub. See, I did start off the edges. You can miss bits, you can just add a little bit of extra. Just be a little bit restrained, because sapphire can be a little bit non-forgiving. You'll notice too that the colour will build, it'll develop, it'll soak into your paper and get more intense. Or a bit more depth. Alright, so that's basically all the sponging I'm going to do on that one, apart from our little shimmy over the top. But what I've got to do first is I need to put the splatter down. So just give me a second and I'll sponge this bit. It's the same technique, it's just Lagoon, Carolina. Just a refresher really for you. Lagoon. We're going to leave like a focus point here for the sentiment. You notice I'm not really starting the sapphire off much. Just needs a little bit more. Okay, that's that one. So I'm done with those. You're going to get inky. Every time I play with blue, I get inky. But anyway. Alright, so shimmer brush. So I'm going to do something naughty here. I don't think, I'm not using this stamp again. So this is a clear shimmer brush. It's probably your go-to because you can add colours to it. You can grab colours from an ink pad off the lid and add to it. But this time, I'm just going to squeeze a little bit onto a block. Not that bit, but just this bit. And if you want to, you could add a little bit of water to that, but it doesn't matter. Can you see it? Seriously, there's not much there. And what I'm going to do, I've picked it up again on my brush, and I'm just going to use my finger and give it a hard tap. So I'm just going to create a few little twinkly splatters on this little beastie. I do this before I put the cloud on, and I possibly should have done the sponging again, but across the sky, but I'll be able to do that. It dries pretty quick. Okay, so that's that. I'll have to go and wipe that off later. So shimmer brushes, awesome. So can you see the little bit of sparkle there? This just gives it a little bit of wow. So I'm going to take that off. Rub any sticky back off that's stuck there. I'm going to get the sapphire, and I'm just going to do a fairly controlled little cloud or haze across the moon. It's not much. That's it. Alright, so that's that one. Next step is the fairy. Alright, while you're there, I will tell you the measurements. So the measurements for these two pieces, so this one here is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and this one here is 1 3/4 by, it says 3 7/8 is not right. 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. That's the measure of those two. So it's 3 3/4 across, 1 3/4. And then there's a piece of black that goes behind these. It just sets it off. And they are a 1/8 measure more. So it's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and 1 7/8 by 3 7/8. That's all the pieces that you put on the card. That's it. It's easy. So I'll just pop those back though, and we're on to the stamping. So let's do this. So I've got have a magical day. Got to find my black. Here it is. Intense black again. Remember, gentle, gentle. So I'm going to put have a magical day. Hopefully you can see that. We'll make each day magical. One. I've over inked that. You can see it. Bugger. Alright, then I'm going to go, this is where the toadstools come in. You're thinking, oh, they're not black. They will be. And then remember before on that other card I said there was two sides. There was a solid side and a cutout side. Well, we're going to use the cutout side, the solid side this time. So I'm going to pop those on here. You can turn them around or not. Yeah, I think we'll turn them around. That's that one, and then one on the bottom. You think, oh, that doesn't look the same. I think I've done my measures wrong there too. Good on me. What was I thinking? Oh, the measures are completely wrong. I think it's meant to be 1 1/8 and 1 7/8, but I'll double check that before we're done. All right, we're going to go and do In the Sky here. Done, diddly-on. And then, last of all, the fairy. So what you need to do for the fairy, you need a black alcohol marker. So we're not going to position the fairy all the way over the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The problem with intense black, not that it's going to matter for this, is most of the time you've got to clean it in between use because it can sort of stick into the crevices and give you black lines. So I won't want this for the next card. I want it nice and crisp. I probably should get my stamp scrubber out, but this will be okay. Stamp chamois to the rescue. Okay, moving on. All right, Pixie's cut. Let me check that measurement. What a numpty. Yeah, look at that. That's 1 1/4 instead of, I told you, 1 3/4. So take a 1/2 inch measure off each of those. So this piece is 1 1/4. That piece, the black piece, should be 1 3/8. And then this measurement's right. I will have to trim that down, but not for this. All right, so colouring in. This is the last step for this card. So black alcohol marker, you can, whatever you've got, just use it as long as it's alcohol. I'm sure you've got alcohol. And all you're going to do, and colour it in as if you're colouring it in the lines. I think it gives it that sort of little bit of definition. You'll still see the lines. Don't go too close to the edge because alcohol markers do bleed a little bit. So do you get the picture? I'm sure you get the picture. So basically you'll colour in your fairy where you can't see a face there at the moment. Once you colour in, it's not going to be a problem. It is such an awesome little card. Little card. I love it. Laura's done a fantastic job coming up with this concept. It's going to be the same with the mushrooms. Okay, so that one is super quick, super easy, and it's fairly cheap to make as well because you don't have a lot of jam. There's no gems. It's just the time that it takes to do it. But yeah, cool. Just gonna trim this down while I remember. I'm gonna make it 1 1/4. Yes. Might even redo that one completely because I've stuffed it. No, no, not. So yeah, this one goes on there, that one goes on there. You stick it on the card base and you're done. I should get rid of these pencils. I won't be using them again. Because where's that one? There you go. All right, so what do you think of that one? Cute idea, isn't it? You could do it in any colour, I think, but blue works really well for night. All right, put that one away. Done. Where did I put the last one? There. All right, moving on to the last one. So 3 cards in an hour. Wow. So this one is awesome. I'm not going to put you through the drama or the pain of watching me colour in another fairy. But, oh, you know what? I forgot to do that other one. I forgot to stamp the little tip on the wand. But anyway, I've got this fairy here that I've pre-coloured in already. So this one I actually cut using the thin cut. I find it's easier to stamp than cut if you're colouring in, because it's really hard to try and hang on. So, where is my bits? All right, so this bit I'm going to show you mainly the cloud technique and the hillside. So that's the hillside. And then I pre-stamped my fairy there. So I'll run her through the thin cut machine later. And then this one here I'm going to use for the tag. I found it was easier to sponge on the cardstock and then cut out the tag. So first job, I will show you the little hillside with your little mushrooms. So again, it is the intense black ink. And we're just going to do a little scene. Now I tried this 2 ways the other night, and I found it was easier to stamp and colour the mushrooms first and then go and apply your hillside than it was to come back and try and colour the mushrooms afterwards. I thought, oh, maybe I could just sponge over the top and the alcohol markers would be enough to colour it. No, but that's okay. So I'm going to stamp one sort of basically off. Little mushrooms, done. All right, next, again, what we're going to do, so I've got all these beautiful markers. I've got them. All right, so I'm going to, I haven't showed you the colouring with the markers, so I will give you a quick run through, because they are gorgeous. All right, so doesn't help that I grabbed the wrong colour. I've used, I think, this one here's the tan blend. Our tri blends have got 3 colours. I've got a light, a medium, and then there's a dark. So I think this colour is what I use for the mushrooms. So we used the markers last week in that little fishy card. You go and do these in different colours. You could go and put some highlights on there by using one of the darker shades. So this, at the moment, I'm using a really light one. So I've just gone to the dark end now, and I'm just okay. So I chose to do the grass in this green turquoise blend. I love it. Just one of my favourite colours. So I'm not going to do all this for you, I promise. So you could colour it in a little bit there in the light, and then I'm going to do the outside in the next colour, just so you get a little light patch in the middle. It's cute, hey? Sometimes I forget. Just going to give it little blue dots. Not that you're really going to see the blue one, but it's fun to colour anyway. So you get the picture. So then I, with the willow sponge, grabbed the willow ink, which is right on the bottom. Tell you what, doing these videos, I don't have a lot of space, but that's okay. All right, so I did try I tried two ways. I tried going this way for the cloud, for the hills, but I actually found it worked better for me going this way. And then I'm just going to move it as I go. Have a look. And then I sort of went and sponged over that bit later. So I'm sort of just getting my definition with the mask. It's just a piece of paper that I've torn. And this sort of technique is sort of similar to what we're going to do next. All right, now I'm just going to lightly go over and blend in, and you can see that the definition of the rolling hills is there. And then I'm just going to gently go around the outside. It doesn't matter if you go over it a little bit, it's all good. And it doesn't have to be all the way up to it either, because it's just like they're sort of popping. Do you get me? Okay, little beasties, how cute is that? So that's our hills. Now I'm going to show you the clouds. So I'll sit that over there. All right, so I found the clouds. Make sure your piece of paper is wide enough. So my tag, I've got a bit of room there either side. So I've got this template. We're only going to use sort of one section. We're going to start first. Now the trick with these, if you're using paper ones, you don't really have to clean it, but these do get a bit wet, and then you could cross-contaminate with colours. So you're going to see me changing, like wiping it as I go. So I'm going to put these in order. So I'm going, the last colour is going to be lemon, pansy, willow, lagoon, pixie, raspberry. You don't have to do them the same colours. That's just what I guessed that they were. So same again. This is why I've got the little sponges. No cross contamination. So again, spongy, spongy, spongy. So I'm going to use this top one for the first one because I want a bit more solid. So I'm just going to do all the way across, because this one is probably the only one you're going to do like this. The next one is pixie. I love sponging, it's super quick. That's pansy, that's pixie. Get rid of that one. All right, so I've got to clean this off though, because I don't want the bright raspberry on my pixie. So wipe my hair off. I usually have a little bit of paper towel just sitting here just to dry it. How messy is this? All right, next we're going to use this one down here, and we're going to lose the plot. Oh no, yeah. So we're going to sit this down a little bit, and we're going to lightly sponge up. So we're going to start the sponging on the template, and I've moved it across so it doesn't line up exactly. And you're just going to sponge a little bit, and you want to leave a little bit of a white outline up the top, because that's where the effect, it's like it's fluffy white clouds. It's really cute. There's that one. So I'm going to wipe off. And yes, I've got a little bit of pink there. Look at that. Naughty. Wipe on both sides. Get rid of that one. Now we want, what's that one? Lagoon. You could have 6 pieces of torn paper to do this, or 6 pieces of clouds. You can turn, the good thing about the stencils, you can turn them over. That way we're going to have a different cloud formation. So, Lagoon ink. That'll settle, don't stress. Wipe him off. Dry him down. I like reusable templates. Your reusable stencils. Awesome. Alright, next colour is Willow. So we just had that one. Some of these brighter colours I'll actually tap off first, just because they're really intense. Now the plan is, if I'm not too far spaced apart, that we'll have a white section down the bottom to stamp our sentiment. We might get there. It's live TV. Alright, dry him off. Next. Alright, get rid of Willow. Let's go Pansy. Pansy is here somewhere. Lemon. What's that one? Free. Lemon. Oh, Pansy? Yeah, there we go. Are we liking the workshops? Are you getting inspired? Are you feeling like you're still going stir crazy? I hope not. Alright, so Pansy, a couple of little taps. And I'm using the brushing forward motion. We're almost done, I promise. Thank you for joining me. How cute is that looking? It's beautiful. Right, last one. Just drying off. Last one's lemon. You could use lemonade. Free. No. Trying to find. That'll do. Right. Bring it down a little bit. How beautiful is that? So once I've done that, I like to do it like that just because it gives me a bigger working space. I'm going to grab my tag thin cut then. I'm just going to turn around and cut that because you don't need to see that. You know how to do this. So tag thin cut, and I'm going to go and cut that little beastie right there. So just hold up. Right, there it is. Look at that. It's done. I've just got some little cheap craft ribbon in blue because I liked it in blue, but I probably should use purple. But anyway, you could use twine, whatever. Just gonna thread it through. Get in. Right, I need to stamp. I need to stamp my sentiment. So I've just stuck with the same sentiment for all of these. Again, because I'm going to add colour to it, I am stamping with Stays On. Oh, not Stays On, Intense Black. And I just thought I'd better give that a good clean before I go, because it'll be... Try again. Alright, so I have coloured that in with, not that, blue marker. And then you could run, I've used the waterfall stickles, so it's just a blue tinted stickles over the top. Cute, huh? The fairy I've put on there in using 3D foam. I probably shouldn't know. But anyway, you get the idea there. Last thing for this card is the background stamping. So we've done our little scene. We've got that. We've got our... I had some pre-cut glitter there just for across there. I just found that it needed a little something something. Lastly is the little blue, Carolina blue. So I gotta find it. Get rid of those. And then I need the outline one. Beautiful. So I'm just going to random stamp, or as random stamp as I can go, the little starry patterns, or sparkly pattern, probably 3/4 of the way down the card. Don't be scared. It doesn't have to be lined up. That's the beauty of random stamping. Okay, done. So, I don't know where my extra bit disappeared to before, but that's all right. So, we would put this little beastie on there like that once it's done. Stick the card on, stick your strip of glitter wherever that ended up on, and you're all done. Now, one extra thing, I did go to a little bit of extra effort and I just cut out one of those little stars. I stamped it in black, cut it out and put a little bit of glitter on it, and then I stuck it to the end of the wand there. So that's it. What did you think? I'm going to turn the camera around so that I can see who's here. Has anybody got 6 toilet paper? Who's missing toilet paper? Oh, there's a whole other conversation going on.